Marissa, now to a KEZI 9 News investigation into staffing levels at Oregon State Police and which troopers say those low levels are actually costing lives.
In our special report tonight, KEZI 9 News reporter Amber Wilmarth speaks with troopers, politicians, and one man who has come face to face with the tragic consequences of budget cuts.
2536, 12-2 traffic.
Trooper Todd Larson works out of OSP's Southwest Region headquarters.
Once we head out, we're going to be out the entire day patrolling our zone.
His zone includes all the state highways west of Springfield and then some.
So I'll go over towards Mapleton. I'll cover 126 West, I'll cover Highway 36, and I also cover Highway 200, which is the territorial highway. And today with the issue with Florence not having a trooper on, I'm also the Florence trooper, so if there are calls over towards the coast, I'll be headed over to 101.
Larson says he gets a lot of calls, more than he can respond to, and that's because OSP is short-staffed.
We're down to about half of what we were with the amount of road miles, and the population are almost double of what they were in 1980.
Captain Tim Fox says Oregon has the second lowest number of troopers per person in the whole country, just ahead of Florida.
We're about 8 troopers per 100,000 population.
OSP's resources weren't always stretched this thin. In 1980, there were 624 troopers and sergeants. Today, 381. So what changed? Fox says in those days, OSP had a dedicated stream of revenue through the state's highway fund, but that stopped in the early 80s. Now, the money comes out of the state's general fund, which legislators and the governor can use to pay for almost anything. Fox says the lack of dedicated funds and staffing has had tragic consequences.
I've seen about 12 different crashes. In the past 2 months, there's been about 4 up the road, with 3 of them being casualties inside.
For the past 10 years, Ashton Hart has lived in Springfield near Highway 126.
This is one of the highways that troopers say they don't get to patrol as often as they'd like. I spoke to people who drive along it every day, and they tell me that speed is a big problem here.
Because I know they wouldn't get a ticket if they just sped up here.
Fox says they don't regularly patrol secondary routes like Highway 126 or 58. He says in 2017, 80% of all fatal crashes they responded to occurred on secondary highways.
I think if anybody who's driven them, you see that there's some pretty aggressive driving that goes on, and so we would like to get out and stop that.
And to enforce the Fatal 5.
Are they speeding? Are they impaired? Are they distracted using their phone? Are they, occupant safety? Are they wearing their seatbelt? Also, the drive within lane, basically making sure that they're not weaving in and out.
Ultimately, Hart says having a trooper on this highway would make a big difference and save lives.
And make people think before they just keep on going.
Fox agrees.
I wholeheartedly believe that it would.
That's why they're now turning to lawmakers for change, pushing for more troopers in 2019.
It is a big concern. We need to fix this.
That's Oregon Senator James Manning, who represents Eugene and Junction City. As a former police officer himself, he said the state needs to do more.
It has stretched OSP troopers to a degree that it's virtually hard for them to really do the job. So a lot of calls go unanswered.
Until it's fixed, Larson's doing the job the best he can with the miles of interstates and highways he's covering.
Safety is, our goal here.
And preventing deadly crashes, something he sees all too often.
It's devastating to, first responders as well as the family. And so that's something we don't want to see, and we want to decrease those numbers of fatal crashes.
Reporting in Eugene, Amber Wilmarth, KEZI 9 News.